Imagine a high-stakes military operation in the Caribbean, where a U.S. strike targets a submarine allegedly smuggling drugs, only to leave one survivor whose fate sparks international debate. But here's where it gets controversial. Ecuador has released this survivor, citing a lack of evidence to detain him, despite U.S. claims of drug trafficking. This incident raises critical questions about the legality of U.S. military actions and the broader implications of its counter-narcotics campaign in the region. The story begins with U.S. military forces intercepting a semi-submersible vessel in the Caribbean, capturing an Ecuadorian national, Andres Fernando Tufino, and a Colombian citizen, Jason Obando Perez. U.S. President Donald Trump declared they would face detention and prosecution in their home countries. However, Ecuador's Attorney General's office countered that Tufino could not be detained due to the absence of any reported crime. This clash of narratives underscores the complexity of international law and the challenges of extraterritorial operations. And this is the part most people miss. While the U.S. has conducted multiple strikes against alleged drug smuggling vessels, experts argue these actions may violate international law. The Trump administration, however, insists it is targeting narco-terrorists. Trump himself described the vessel as a drug-carrying submarine loaded with fentanyl and other narcotics. Yet drug trafficking experts note that fentanyl primarily enters the U.S. from Mexico, not the southern Caribbean, where these operations are focused. The human toll of these strikes is equally alarming. 2 men aboard the vessel were killed, and Perez returned to Colombia with severe injuries, including a traumatic brain injury. Meanwhile, the U.S. deployment in the Caribbean, involving 10,000 troops, aircraft, and ships, has primarily targeted vessels leaving Venezuela, with Trump accusing Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro of leading the cartel of the Suns. Maduro denies these claims, accusing the U.S. of attempting to overthrow him. The controversy extends beyond Ecuador and Venezuela. Colombian President Gustavo Petro accused the U.S. of committing murder in Colombian territorial waters, prompting Trump to label Petro an illegal drug leader and threaten to cut aid and impose tariffs. In Trinidad and Tobago, media outlets pressured the government to investigate reports of 2 nationals killed in the strikes, though the government ultimately backed the U.S. operations. Here's the bigger question. Are these strikes a legitimate effort to combat drug trafficking, or do they overstep international boundaries and risk harming innocent lives? As the U.S. escalates its pressure on Maduro and expands its operations, the region's stability hangs in the balance. What do you think? Is the U.S. justified in its actions, or is this a dangerous precedent? Share your thoughts in the comments. This debate is far from over.